This time of year is something those with asthma and allergies know all too well. Different allergens like mold, ragweed, and even pollen can trigger symptoms. And that's why September is known as the asthma peak. Let's bring in Kenneth Mendez, the CEO of the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America, joining us on Zoom this morning. Kenneth, good morning. Let's talk about the top things people with asthma can do right now to prepare for the September peak.
Good morning. Well, the most important thing is understand what your triggers are and make sure that you have access to your medication. And that's the most important thing that you could do. We have peak week, and actually your area ranks number 23 in the country as one of the most challenging places to live with asthma.
You know, we talk a lot about the respiratory infections as well and how that impacts people with asthma. You got flu, RSV, of course, COVID-19. Can you talk about how those respiratory infections make asthma symptoms worse?
Sure. Well, those could all be a trigger, but when you combine that in September with the fall allergy season, so the primary culprit is ragweed in the fall, and that doesn't stop pollinating until the first frost comes. So what you have is the fall allergy season, supercharged releases of pollen because of the additional carbon dioxide in the air. Then you combine that with the respiratory infections like RSV and others where kids are coming back to school in the indoor air environment. So those things combined irritate your airways and can trigger an asthma attack.
And, you know, there are some people that have been dealing with asthma for a long time and they think they have theirs under control, but asthma can get worse. So what are some of the common signs that asthma might be getting worse, and when should someone seek medical attention?
Yeah, there are a couple things. The immediate things are trouble breathing, waking up at night, exhaling, even your airways going out can be as much of a sign as taking in. The other thing we have on our website, which is what we do as a nonprofit, we have an asthma action plan. It's the standard of care, and you can download it easily. It's in Spanish and English, aafa.org. And that's a chart that basically looks red, yellow, and green, and looks at, you know, my asthma is in good shape in green, but yellow, I might be having some symptoms. Red, I need to see a doctor or go into a hospital.
Well, you know, as we're going into the fall season here, getting deeper into it, it seems like it's harder and harder to kind of avoid the ragweed and the pollen and the mold and all those sorts of things that will increase asthma issues. So how can people, especially those with asthma, reduce their exposure during this season?
Yeah, so make sure that, you know, follow the weather report, but stay indoors during high pollen release times. Make sure you run an air filter, a HEPA air filter in your home. Got certified asthma and allergy friendly air filters at our website. But those kinds of things to clean the indoor air. If you've got a pet, don't sleep with your pet if you're allergic to your pet. And make sure that you're vacuuming your rugs with a HEPA vacuum cleaner. Understand what your triggers are for indoor allergens as well, because you spend 90% of your time indoors. Mold can be an issue also. We've got weather coming and storms, and that can be a trigger for your asthma.
And, you know, we're, of course, out of the pandemic technically, but there are a lot of people, especially those with asthma, who still decide to wear masks in public spaces just to keep themselves safe. So should people with asthma be doing this, especially during the fall?
Yeah, I think, again, the protocols during COVID actually apply to people with asthma. Wash your hands so you don't catch any of the respiratory infections that are there. Wear a mask if you're in indoor places, tight enclosed areas. Make sure that there's good air circulation in wherever you are. So those are some of the things that you want to make sure of so you don't catch the germs that would trigger a respiratory infection that would then trigger asthma. There's something called allergic asthma, which will drive and trigger your asthma attacks.
And those are a lot of the physical issues that people with asthma deal with, but there are also some mental issues as well. We're talking about stress and anxiety. How does that play a role in asthma symptoms?
Yeah, well, certainly asthma, stress can trigger an asthma attack, but, you know, you think about what asthma and the cost of asthma. It costs the healthcare system about $115 billion, but that's per what you're talking about. Missed school days, missed work days, absenteeism. It's the top reason for missed school days for children who have asthma. So all that stuff combines to stressors, and affording your medication, having access to that, all those things are a real challenge for people with asthma.
It's a lot to consider, especially as there is so much going on around us going into this fall season for people with asthma. Great tips there. Kenneth Mendez with the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America. We appreciate you for joining us this morning.